here's a story from The World.
This week, Kenya began deploying police officers to Haiti. They are part of a UN-backed multinational mission to deal with the rampant gang violence there. Kenya's President William Ruto addressed the police before they set off.
The international community has confidence in you, your capabilities, your integrity, your professionalism.
But inside Kenya, the police have simultaneously been facing serious criticism for their deadly crackdown on anti-tax demonstrations over the past 2 weeks. The World's Halima Gikandi reports from Nairobi.
At the city morgue in Nairobi, Kenya, families have come to identify the bodies of their loved ones who were killed in this week's anti-tax demonstrations. 19-year-old Ibrahim Kamau Wanjiku was one of them. His mother, Edith Wanjiku Kamau, struggles to hold her tears back. When her son didn't come back from Tuesday's demonstrations, she went from hospital to hospital until she was told that the dead had been brought to this public mortuary. That's where she found her son. He and 5 others died from bullet wounds. At Tuesday's protests, the police fired at unarmed demonstrators. This has surprised all of us. My son was a strong person. He had just finished high school last year and was trying to make ends meet as she looked for the funds to send him to college. Many young people have lost their lives over these finance bill demonstrations, she says. According to the Police Reforms Working Group, at least 23 people have been killed by police during these protests. 300 people have been injured. Patrick Mutahi is a police and security expert and the executive director of the Center for Human Rights and Policy Studies.
Definitely, this has damaged the public image of the president and how he wants to portray himself nationally and internationally.
As the anti-tax demonstrations heated up over the past week, Ruto commended protesters for exercising their rights. On the streets, however, they were met with tear gas, abductions, and live bullets.
And that kind of brutality was the state showing a lot of its muscle. It said that, we take this as prisoners. But then also it was not proportionate to the threat that is there.
These events are bringing renewed attention to Kenya's long history of police brutality. It's made many people question why the country's police are going to Haiti. Mutahi says Kenya's policing woes are not new.
Our mentality, one of the police, is drawn from the colonial times of subjugating citizens. And we have never changed our style of policing. The police first think their work is to brutalize Kenyans.
Over the years, Kenya has received money from the international community, including the United States, to train and reform their police. Last year, a government task force was created to tackle police reforms. But Mutahi says reform efforts often don't address the root of the problem.
When you talk about police reform, we always talk about reforming the hardware, is that we are giving them better equipment, we are giving them better gear, we are increasing the numbers. But we rarely touch what does policing mean to people.
On Wednesday, President Ruto recognized and apologized for the loss of life during the protests.
On those who lost their lives, there will be a mechanism of how they will be accounted for.
I reached out to Kenya's police service for comment for this story. I was directed to an independent police oversight authority that investigates police misconduct. The organization says they are investigating some of the deaths allegedly caused by police. Back at the morgue, I asked Jane Waithera, the grandmother of one of the victims shot dead during these demonstrations, what her message was for Kenya's president.
Tunaomba, Your Excellency, tafadhali.
Mr. President, if you listen to the voices of the young people, the demonstrations will finish. But I beg you, don't let more children die. For The World, I'm Halima Gikandi, Nairobi.